Here's how Ellen DeGeneres tried to fool you that she is not a monster celebrity liar. That's next. Welcome back to the channel, Shaikers. Derek Van Schaik here. As you'll know, Ellen DeGeneres is the 62-year-old comedian and talk show host who is being accused of being one of the meanest people on the face of the earth.
Every day I end each show with a reminder to be kind to one another.
Which is very, very ironic considering she is the promoter and the founder of the kindness campaign.
I really mean it. I think I'm not just saying it at the end of the show. I want everybody to start a kindness campaign.
We did a whole nother video on that. So if you want to check that one out, link will be in the description. We're talking monster celebrity status, where when cameras aren't recording, certain people aren't allowed to look at her, make eye contact with her, and certainly not speak to her. And in that video, what I pointed out was that she was using what's called inoculation.
Be kind, Ellen box. Be kind candle. Smells like kindness.
By being the founder of that kindness campaign, it allowed her to also be very, very mean and to get away with it. Because if anything comes out that Ellen DeGeneres was mean to somebody or mean to another person and another person, everyone would just kind of sweep that under the rug and just be like, no, that just can't be true. Maybe they're just exaggerating about how mean Ellen was. The founder of the kindness campaign can't possibly be mean. Nope. She would slip, often revealing her true self on camera.
No, I'm not going to ask you if you're pregnant or not. Let's toast to you not being pregnant. If you're not pregnant, then we should.
My goodness.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. You were invited.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How do you know? I don't think so.
Ask everybody.
However, with all these massive allegations, and not only against Ellen DeGeneres that she is mean, but also her entire production crew, that's basically a nightmare to work there.
Toxic, phony, hypocrite, liar. That's what she is. We all walked on eggshells all the time.
A toxic work environment, allege a culture of racism, fear, and intimidation.
Ellen comes back on air here, and Ellen stands up in front of everybody, and supposedly it's just so transparent and says it's going to be a new chapter. But is she lying? So we're going to break down her body language along with the evidence to finally reveal if she was being transparent or was she being deceptive to hide who she really is. Now, let's get started.
Oh boy, welcome to season 18 of the Ellen DeGeneres Show.
First obvious thing that we notice is that she's wearing a white jacket and a white shirt. It's also after Labor Day, so there's no real good summer reason for wearing white. As you all know, white is psychologically associated with purity and innocence. However, it's also associated with starting a new chapter. So it does make sense why she would choose to wear white here. However, here for Ellen, it's for a lot different reason than Micah and James Stauffer decided to wear white when they were telling the world that they returned their adopted son.
Oh boy, welcome to season 18 of the Ellen DeGeneres Show.
Notice when she said the name of her show, she took a step back. Also saying show in a higher octave, almost like it's a question.
The Ellen DeGeneres Show.
Combined, all that indicates severe apprehension because she probably doesn't know how all of this will be taken. Wait a second, how does she have a whole studio audience there when it's still COVID and still social distancing? No one has studio audiences. What's going on? How does she have a studio audience? You'll find out.
If you're watching because you love me, thank you. If you're watching because you don't love me, welcome.
Oh, wow, Ellen, you're such a funny little person. This is the biggest part about being in the studio for Ellen, is that when she was home, it was obvious that she didn't have a studio audience and it didn't make any sense to have a laugh track. But when she's in the studio, she's able to get a laugh track and make it seem normal because that's the expectation. As we saw in my prior video on her, you take any laughing out of her show, she's not funny.
Unlike the sun, it has phases. I went through a phase once. It was called men.
Major advantage Ellen DeGeneres has is that she's a comedian. Laughter is the best way to break someone's frame. So if someone has that frame of mind that they are angry at you, they don't like you, but you get them to laugh, they can't help but to actually like you a little bit more. If you can get someone who's mad at you to laugh, I can almost guarantee you that they won't be mad at you for very long. Laughter is a very effective way to break someone's frame.
How was everybody's summer? Good? Yeah.
Right here, notice that she's pulling a little bit on her jacket and kind of giving it a little bit of a nervous tug. That's some indication of some nervous fidgeting. Also, combine what we saw before, some of that other nervousness indicates that, yes, she is still nervous here. Also, notice how much she's fake smiling at you. Kind of just like, Everyone's having a good summer, right? Yeah? Yeah? The reason why she's doing that is to get you to smile back. Typically, when someone smiles at us, we can't help but to also reciprocate and smile back. So in this situation here, where she is clearly in trouble, she's trying to get you to break your frame by getting you to laugh and also smiling at you. And yes, she's a comedian that uses laugh tracks and smiles a lot to the audience all the time. But in this certain situation, it has double meaning and double reason why she is doing that. The laugh tracks will be put in even more, even when it's not even close to being funny, and smiling even more with different purpose of trying to get you to forget what she did.
Mine was great.
A little bit of self-deprecation, which is actually very effective here because she's using self-deprecation on the issue that everyone knows about, that everyone is watching her for, that everyone is trying to decide whether they're going to forgive her or not. But she's laughing about that and getting you to laugh about that. So then she's making it all kind of appear as kind of a joke. If she's able to get you to laugh about the allegations, she's not only breaking your frame that Ellen DeGeneres is bad, because she's getting you to laugh, but she's getting you to laugh about the very thing that you're mad about.
Super terrific.
It's extremely effective when you're mad at someone and they're able to get you to laugh about the very thing you're mad about. You have no shot. You have no shot, right? You're just like, all right, total break in frame. You win. I guess it's funny. Let's just move on. Right? They're her little tricks, guys. These are her little tricks.
I'm so happy to be back in the studio. There are a lot of things I want to talk about. I've been looking forward to addressing it all directly, and unfortunately, talking directly to people has been illegal for 6 months, so I have a virtual audience here instead. Here you all are.
Yes, Ellen DeGeneres actually has a whole studio audience full of flat screen TVs. The big question is why would she have a whole audience full of flat screen TVs of people supposedly watching her through Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, I don't know, however they're connected in. Why would she even do that? What do you think? Right, it is to make it seem that the clapping and laughter that you hear, which is just laugh tracks that just put in there over on top of what she's doing, and it's not from the people in Skype and Zoom and people on flat screen TVs, they're muted. Because what happens if the dog comes in their room and they're like, oh, be quiet, Sparky, you know? They can't have that. Everyone, of course, is muted. So, of course, it's to make the laugh track that is put on top of everything seem more legitimate. Because as we saw in my previous video on her, she's not very funny without a push of a button laughter.
Don't stare at the sun.
And in Ellen's case here, it's even more of a push button laughter. It's coming from the speakers.
You look beautiful, and I'm sure you smell great.
That wasn't exactly the smartest thing to say, right? Given all the allegations that she has what she calls like a sensitive nose, where you're not allowed to cook certain foods, you're not allowed to eat certain foods that she doesn't eat. And also, if you come within, I guess, 10 feet of her, you need to have a breath mint.
That's what I'm imagining anyway.
That wasn't very smart right there. I guess you just went off script.
All right, let's get to it.
Now, all of a sudden now, talking about the serious allegations, we start to see very nervous body language.
As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations
We noticed some self-comforting body language all of a sudden,
of a toxic work environment at our show.
and a hard gulp
And then there was an investigation.
when she says, and then there was an investigation.
And then there was an investigation.
That investigation clearly makes her very nervous. This was not something that was just like, hey, I was completely innocent. This is just completely bogus. No, it seems to actually have had actual merit because it made her very nervous. You can even hear that nervousness in her voice when she says, and then there was an investigation. Watch.
And then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected.
So sorry to the people who were affected. How much more general can you be? I mean, come on. Because as soon as she starts bringing up details, then people, of course, are reminded of what she did. It's just so much more effective to not go into the details. But it also can come across as less sincere. The most sincere apology is, of course, the most specific apology. With her, it's okay, I apologize. I did some things, and everyone does things that they regret, and I did some things I regret. Okay, let's move on. And what she's doing here, and what you will continue to see her do, talk about it very, very, very broad in order to not bring up all of the bad things that actually happened and that she did. It's actually very effective as long as you can get people to not question you. As soon as you have someone like me saying like, hey, how come you're not being very specific? Why don't you acknowledge and say you're sorry to the exact things that you did and that you can admit to. Right here, she's not really admitting to anything other than, yeah, things probably happened that shouldn't have happened.
I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power.
It's very interesting when she says privilege and power, she hides her thumb in her hand.
I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power.
In body language, the thumb or thumbs indicate power and strength. If you ever saw the old TV show Happy Days, what does the Fonz always do? Right, thumbs up. Hiding that thumb right when you say power seems to be something connected to her insecurity of power.
I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show.
There seems to be incongruent body language here when she says, I take responsibility for what happens on my show. Watch again, see what you think.
I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show.
She gives an incongruent head shake, and then she moves her hand horizontally in line with her head shake. Typically, when someone is very, very honest, everything will be moving together. The fact that she's incongruent and she's saying that seems that there's some conflict in her that she may not fully believe that she is in charge or should be taking the full blame of what has been happening on her show. Then she gives off a clear asymmetric smirk indicating some form of insecurity. Possibly because what we pointed out previously is that she does not fully believe that she is responsible for everything that happens on her show.
This is the Ellen DeGeneres Show. I am Ellen DeGeneres. My name is there. My name is there. My name is on underwear.
Even on underwear. Ellen, you're so funny. Of course, in any normal circumstance, such as when she was doing her videos in her living room, that it's not funny at all. It's kind of stupid. But let's hit play and see what happens. Of course, again, even more fake laughter. Fake laughter works on us because we want to feel like we're part of something interesting, exciting, happy. We want to feel like we're part of the group. But here's the thing. You have to have the idea in your mind that maybe the laughter may not be fake. As soon as you kind of feel like the laughter is fake, then it loses its effect. If she was talking to the camera and there was no screens up with a whole bunch of faces where you can think that that laughter and clapping is actually coming from the faces you see there, you have that already in your mind, and people want to automatically assume that the people who are clapping and laughing are those screens of faces that are clapping, and it's not just a laugh track.
We have had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks about the show, our workplace, and what we want for the future. We have made the necessary changes.
Now, Ellen talks about the necessary changes, but again, she does not talk about details. No details at all. She avoids the details. That's the best place to be in all of this, so you don't have to admit any specific guilt and also not bring up any of the bad things that she did and remind anybody of any of that.
And today, we are starting a new chapter. There were also articles in the press and on social media that said that I am not who I appear to be on TV.
She's a different person. She's not the person people see in front of the camera.
Because I became known as the Be Kind lady.
As expected, Ellen is very nervous right here. We see some nervous fidgeting with her left hand. We see some self-comforting stroking and massaging of her leg. She also sticks her tongue out to the side of her mouth, indicating she needs more self-comfort. And she seems to be very nervous because the terrible allegations against her are likely very true.
Being known as the Be Kind lady is a tricky position to be in.
What Ellen is referring to is the violation of expectations. We all get extremely offended when someone else violates our expectations of that person. The reason why I don't personally preach truthfulness and tell you all at the end of every video, be truthful, it's the right thing to do, and always be truthful about everything, be like me, right? I never say any of that because that's impossible to live up to. Because as soon as you guys would find out that I lied to my girl about what kind of food we're going to be eating tonight, you all would come at me with your pitchforks. It's an impossible expectation to live up to, and that's what she's saying. But of course, the allegations against Ellen DeGeneres aren't anywhere close to her just having a bad day or just said something that she may regret. This is consistently, continuously something that has been the culture of working there, that you can't talk to her, you can't look at her, you need to move out of the way in the hallway if she even comes within 3 feet of you. I mean, it's just completely over the top. What Ellen has been accused of is not what we're talking about, a violation of expectations. She's being accused of having an entire culture, being the type of person that you just don't want to ever be around. But she wants to make it seem like to you that she created created these impossible expectations that no one in the world can live up to. That's not what she's being accused of.
So let me give you some advice out there. If anybody's thinking of changing their title or giving yourself a nickname, do not go with the Be Kind lady.
More distracting from the allegations against her, while also making fun of the allegations against her and getting you to laugh at that. Again, if you can get people to laugh at what they're mad at you about, they won't be mad at you for long.
Don't do it.
But there's one caveat. If you fail to make them laugh, yeah, you're probably in a worse position than you were before. Now watch this next part here and see if you can spot her deception.
The truth is, I am that person that you see on TV.
Anytime someone proactively starts talking about truth, it starts to become more convincing and not just conveying.
The truth is,
It's not necessarily a definite that the person is lying, but it is a little bit of a red flag for us to look at her body language.
The truth is,
When she says the suspected lie,
I am that person that you see on TV.
her hands come together in a rare form of creating a frontal barrier while also giving herself some extra self-comfort in a little intertwined hand massage. Also, what we'll notice is that when she says that, she puts her palms up.
I am that person.
Amateur body language readers and idiots think that putting palms up usually means the person is telling the truth. It's not how it works. It's not always, but usually the opposite when we talk about body language clusters. If you noticed Chris Watts, when he was talking about his family, what would he do a lot? Yeah, he would show palms up a lot. He would say, oh, I didn't do anything. Oh, this is all I know.
They're going to look at me, especially with the way everything looks. It honestly just makes me sick to my stomach because this is something that I would never do. Ever.
People generally understand that this indicates that they'd have nothing to hide. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. They understand that. But then you may be wondering, well, how do I know if hand showing one time is for truth and hand showing another time is for lying? You know, based on the cluster that we're looking at and all the little signs that indicate some deception like we're seeing here. So then all of a sudden we see hands in what seems to be a little deceptive cluster. The showing of hands at that moment make that little deceptive cluster even bigger and more of a probability that she's lying.
I am also a lot of other things. Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient. And I am working on all of that.
Again, what she's doing is trying to get the impression across to you that she's a human too. She's not perfect. She's just like anybody else. She's not always 100% kind, and she gets moody and grumpy and has bad days like you too, you know? So you should take it easy on her. Those are not the allegations against Ellen DeGeneres. That when the cameras aren't rolling, she is a mean, nasty celebrity. Kind of like those monster celebrity caricatures that everyone just assumes is just completely fake, completely just over-the-top caricature of a, typical celebrity that, has to have everything their way, can't have anyone look at them, touch them, talk to them. Everyone just assumes that's just a caricature, that no real celebrities anything like that. Nope, Ellen is. This is way more than just getting moody or grumpy. She is a monster celebrity. She's probably one of the meanest people on earth.
I am a work in progress, and I'm especially working on the impatience thing and it's not going well because it's not happening fast enough. I will tell you that.
That was absolutely hilarious. I just can't get over how funny she is. She's such a funny little person. You guys don't know, but behind this camera is actually a studio audience. Everybody clap. Oh, yeah. Maybe from now on, I should have my studio audience actually clap for what I'm doing and not just be completely radio silent like we've been having them do. That's it. We're not holding back anymore on this show. Come on. Let's hear you guys. Yeah.
I was an actress. I've played a straight woman in movies, so I'm a pretty good actress. But I don't think that I'm that good that I could come out here every day for 17 years and fool you.
No, Ellen, you didn't fool me. You didn't fool a lot of the Shakers. We know who you were. We know who you are. We have a whole video on this channel pointing it all out, showing the times that she slipped. It wasn't this big secret like, oh, it only came through on some tweets and I had no idea. No, on her show, it was many, many times, as you all saw. If you didn't see it, go watch that video of her showing her true self. It's all out there.
This is me. And my intention is to always be the best person I can be.
Now in this next part, see if you can spot in her body language that this little speech of hers was very rehearsed and may not be very sincere. Watch.
And if I've ever let someone down, if I've ever hurt their feelings, I am so sorry for that.
Did you catch it? It's very quick, right? She looks up too early and then resets and looks down and then looks back up even more when she realized that's when she was supposed to look up according to the whole plan and how she rehearsed this little speech of hers.
I got into this business to make people laugh and feel good. That's my favorite thing to do. That and Jenga.
Did you laugh? I played a little trick on you. You probably didn't. Because it wasn't funny. It was just stupid. Oh, I play Jenga and I like to make people laugh. Okay, how is that funny? It's not. But let's play it back with the laugh track.
I got into this business to make people laugh and feel good. That's my favorite thing to do. That and Jenga. I love that game.
Ellen was clearly diverting and lying and also using her little comedian tricks to try to get you to laugh, using laugh tracks and making self-deprecating humor so that she can continue to make millions of dollars on her little TV program. Give this video a thumbs up if you think Ellen was deceptive. Give this video a thumbs down if you think Ellen wasn't deceptive at all. Now in the comments, what do you think it would be like working for Ellen DeGeneres? Let everyone know in the comments below. Remember to hit that subscribe button now because we don't want you to miss out on new body language investigative videos that always seem to shake up YouTube. I'll see you at the top.